Sometimes my humor gets me into trouble.
He's got bad luck, too.
Welcome to the Matt and Dave Morning Duo. Happy Monday.
It's a Monday. Yep.
Yeah, thank you for sticking with us. So, the topic at hand. My bad luck.
And his terrible sense of humor.
Some people, this is totally debatable. Some people may appreciate this sense of humor. It's like that type of humor. It's kind of like corny jokes mixed in with some decent jokes, mixed in with some dry humor.
It's mostly all dry.
It's mostly dry, yeah. And, well, some people hate on it.
Just telling you, it's not always the best of comedies.
I'm not saying it is. But there are some interesting stories that have come out of it.
Yes. Okay, so, as you know, just by looking at all this, Matthew has that kind of like naive kind of thing to him where he's always optimistic and, happy with the world. And people just tend to slam down on that.
It's so true.
Especially, like I said, his humor, it's about a solid 5 out of 10. Sometimes he goes above it, sometimes he goes below it. But whenever he tries, it seems like everything backfires in the worst way possible. The most recent example I can think of this is government class, right? We had this little thing where they mentioned the city of Brussels and had to do with what was like the state of alarm in that city, and the answer was 4. And the teacher asked Matthew what the answer is, and Matthew says sprouts. As in, Brussels sprouts. And everybody immediately just goes like, that's the worst thing I've ever heard. And me over there in the corner, I was like, what? Dude, he said sprouts, like Brussels sprouts. Oh, boo.
I did get booed. And my teacher was like, some people just shouldn't try to make jokes.
He told you that you should be careful not to become a comedian.
Yeah. So, it was another time I went to Romania. And I wasn't thinking, but you should never play around with border customs. Especially places where it's not the United States, and if you happen to make them mad, they might detain you. Okay? So I haven't really dealt with Border Patrol much, and I didn't know the severity of their no messing around attitude. Like, they're like TSA. Like, you don't say bomb in front of TSA. You don't make jokes at border custom. So, fun fact here. Romanian lei is their currency. So, whenever you go to the border, they ask you want to get some money exchanged into lei. And I was like, no, I don't like potato chips. And I kind of gave him like a, you got it? Get it? And he just kind of, he was up in this, first of all, they put him in like king, like thrones. They're like in boxes. And they're kind of looking down at you, like through a glass thing. And they're speaking to you, kind of like movie theaters a bit, but more ominous. And he's just like, did you make joke? And I'm like,
did you make joke?
Because their English is a little shoddy. But they're like, oh no sir. And he's like, I will detain you. I'm like, huh? Yes sir. We don't even have lace here. That's dumb. Okay? You want to get through this country or not? I will detain you. Detention box right here. Okay. So yeah, I made a lace joke. Border Patrol didn't like it.
I think that we should give the people a taste of your kind of humor. If you feel free to start rattling off some jokes.
Alright. Okay. So, is a hippopotamus really a hippopotamus, or just a really cool hippopotamus? That's my go-to.
That one, I can see why people would want to detain you for saying something like that.
It's not like, I'm not saying it's roll on the ground, but it gives a little spice to life.
The bad kind of spice.
A good kind of spice.
Like pepper spray to the face.
If I ever saw a man getting hanged, I would just start yelling out letters.
That one, it's dark, but it just doesn't have enough humor to justify its darkness.
I think it does. So I went to the movies this weekend. Okay. And it was a sad movie. A couple behind me started wailing. Things got really bad when I got hit with a harpoon.
That's what I'm talking about right there. Solid 5. Maybe
Solid
like a
5.
little chuckle and an eye roll. That's really all I can give you.
I'm not saying you should fall on the ground, but there should be no booing.
Sometimes it's boo worthy.
Sometimes. That one wasn't. Brussels joke should have been like, nah. Nah. You know, but not boo. That was terrible.
I just gave you the boo.
Some people said that.
Make of it what you will.
I can remember one particular day where my bad luck kind of culminated into like this just frenzy of catastrophes.
Frenzy of catastrophes.
Small catastrophes.
I don't think there can be small catastrophes.
Small catastrophes in my life. Okay. So, first thing that happens. This is just not like anything crazy bad luck, but this is a typical day in the life of Bad Luck Matthew.
Bad luck, Matthew.
Okay. So, I go to the village market, which is like, people call it the village. It's like the store when you need something in sundown.
It's the only store when you need something in sundown.
Yeah, because this town is tumbleweeds, stop signs, and pump checks. That's all it is. And a convenience store, which is the village. Okay, so we go, me and this other guy named Hondo go to the village, and we order our food. Okay, so then they ask us, like, you want a drink? And I'm like, yeah, give me a large. And like, okay, actually, I need to back up here. This village it's got a deli and it's got a Subway. So there's like this eating corner. And the corner, on this side there's a deli and on this side there's a Subway, but they're like separate. They're not the same people who run it. I mean, even though they can be. But lots of times there's like deli workers, Subway workers. You can feel the tension sometimes for them. But so I go to the Subway. I go to the deli and ask for the drink, and they're like, well, you gotta go to Subway to buy the drink. And then this other guy comes up, and he's like, I'd like a large, and they're like, oh, here you go. Turn around, large cup. I'm like, okay, so that's, alright, whatever. Shrug it off. And then the second thing that happens, I go to the fountain drink thing, and this guy, he gets a Sprite. Okay? Perfect Sprite. I go to the Sprite and the thing explodes off the machine. There's those little caps, that it comes off of. It just kind of drops and it just starts spewing water. Okay. And then I was like, alright, I'll get a Powerade. Well, then the Powerade syrup runs out right there. Golly, this thing doesn't want me to get a drink. I get a Dr. Pepper, finally it works. Okay. Third thing that happens. We're just kind of sitting there. They're kind of cleaning things up because they're shutting down. And they're like, hey, y'all guys want a cookie? Hondo gets up. They give him 5 cookies. I go up there. They still got the whole box thing, with cookies. I was like, can I get a cookie? And they were like, looked at the cookies, looked at me again, subtle nod. And I was like, you gave him 5. What's going on? And so at this point, I'm like, all right, it's been a rough day. So I'm like, maybe I should just cut my losses. Drive out of here. So I'm giving this guy a ride home, and I put my drink in my console. Not in my console, in my cup holder, and we hit a pothole. And we were coming home from baseball practice, so I had my white pants on. Hit a pothole, spills all over my pants and the truck. And then at that point, my friend Hannah was just like, "You should go to bed before you die."
You have come close to dying several times, haven't you?
Yes. Several times. Alright, so, like I said earlier, I got some bad aviation luck. And so, this one time, we were going from Seattle to San Francisco. Okay? And we back out of the gate, turn onto the runway, we spool up, and then you kind of hear, this kind of weird, and we all kind of look at each other like, no, that can't be normal. And we just kind of keep spooling up, start moving down the runway, get going decently fast, and then hit the brakes. We're like, ladies and gentlemen, we had a mechanical failure. Gonna have to report back to the gate. And you know how runways are, they're busy, and we ended up, because like they schedule everything. So the gate that was there, plane comes in. So we had to sit on the runway. And airline companies are really pinched for money, so they don't like having to spend extra fuel, so they turn it off. It's like hot outside. So we're sitting there, and then like the plane gets really, really hot, and then they come back on and like, we're still really having issues figuring out what's wrong, but we're gonna go ahead and take off anyway. And we're all just like, what? Take off. Kind of can still hear the noise. It all worked out, but it was still kind of hairy. It's like. And in Romania, man, they don't have the same air restrictions and policies and safety regulations. So it would be like you're kind of like you're going around on the runway and you're like, hey, this thing's on fire. Should we do something about it? That happens every like Tuesday or so. And like it'd be like, hey, I kind of couldn't help but notice, but there was a big hole in the tail of the plane. Of course, these are exaggerations, but that's kind of like the things that would happen. Like. I noticed the pilot like was really, really sleepy, and he was like taking espresso shots. Should we get a more well-rested pilot? And be all right. So stuff like that.
Free life. Intelligence, free life.
All right. Do you have a fact?
Maybe. Maybe. Look. These old rancid jelly beans that I'm really hoping we had lost forever. Now, is it possible for turkeys to have heart attacks? Was kind of cracked a little towards the end.
I'm gonna say no, because they die so young that I would think their heart wouldn't fail them yet.
Well, actually, it's quite possible.
It is?
Yes. Actually, like, it's the worst kind of hilarious, but there's been reported instances where you have like a turkey farm next to like an Air Force thing, and once those pilots get enough momentum and like break the sound barrier, all these turkeys will just like fall to the ground dead.
Oh no, not the turkeys. So scared to death.
Heart attack.
Scared to death to have a heart attack.
Yeah.
It's sad. Alright, I gotta take a bean. Probably gonna be bad.
Closes. Gonna knock down the camera. Well, I think we're done for today.
Tune in tomorrow.
Calm down.
That was disgusting.
It always is. Okay. So, did you want to shoot later, or are we done for today?